I could talk to my gold chat.
Fitzy can make his own team. Why would he take the dregs of your failed experiment?
Right. Someone has to save the boys.
Yeah.
Fitzy, if people want to be part of your gold chat, where can they find you?
Fitzy here, anywhere. Fitzy here, anywhere.
Fitzy here, anywhere. You love to hear it. Fitzy, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. It's great to see you. I hope we get you back on the desk very soon to pick your brain some more. But for now, we're gonna say goodbye. Thank you so much. Mitch,
thanks for having me.
You ready to close this one out?
Yeah, let's do it. I think after that, I mean, I'm definitely ready to roll. Team Liquid versus Shikigami. Again, a matchup here on paper that absolutely looks utterly one-sided. I think that's the fairest way to put it here. TL had looked amazing with his Wrecking Ball comp, whereas Shikigami, their first game was a 0-3 loss to Rad. They did beat Amplify in a 3-1, but against the top, I'll call them the big four, they have been unable to get maps here. So that's probably part of the objective for this squad. We have an Echo band here, which is
quite interesting.
Do I even have Echo on my bingo card at all? That is
I think I did. We've rarely seen Echo played. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, maybe once. The Juno band, though, from TL. Juno, obviously.
I need a Moira band. Guys, Liquid Shikigami, no particular reason. I need a Moira band.
Hey, they're not allowed to watch.
Oh, that's true. Unlucky. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so we actually have a recent comp with the Baptiste. Pretty diveable. Very susceptible to Team Liquid's, Wrecking Ball.
They need to be fast, though, here with this Arisa. Oh, nice shot there from Danny. Just kind of flies around the corner, takes out Knife. And it is a diveable comp. The BAF, though, once that Immortality Field's gone, going to be really difficult staying alive. There's the MO field out. Graveyard doing all they can, trying to live. Not going to be able to live for long, though, as that'll be Team Liquid taking that first fight.
Yeah, correct choice there by Graveyard to save the regenerative burst for when the Immortality Field was about to expire. But that fight broke down into a couple of skirmishes, and somehow RuPaul is behind Team Liquid on the Ana. So that should tell you everything you need to know about the attitude of Liquid, I think, approaching this game. We'll see how it plays out, though, because the Drunk has been someone that's definitely impressed us on occasion.
Yeah.
But they are, of course, going to have to make very good use of this Cassidy.
So this is what we asked for, to see Rad Esports go to, right? And try and play like Cassidy with the Torb. Really slowed them down. They were playing the Ramatra at the time. The Arisa, though, with the Baptiste, same type of ideal. But, man, that is a nice sleep there by RuPaul. Though Lucio trying to make a play for him in the back line. And on the opposite side, Mitch, they're just not able to keep Solo up. Tree with a hammer kill to finish things off. It's just the disruption of this ball. Very difficult to work through.
Absolutely. And there is more than enough damage here for Liquid that Solo basically gets nuked down. Tree loves a bit of Torb action. And again, you notice him just like hitting these consecutive shots. I want to point out that they're playing off the ground, like up on that ledge away from the fight a little bit. So they're actually just in a position where the shots aren't as easy to hit because of the immense drop on that rivet gun. And yet, you notice that Tree is consistently putting damage down during these fights.
It's just taking a little bit long here now for Shikigami to make their way towards the point. Amp Matrix, but you have the Minefield just kind of thrown in there. That's going to actually be, so you get a kill there from Solo on the tree, which is great, but you actually use the Immortality Field already. Solo extremely low, gets hit with a bio, so going to have to back up. So, man, the disruption here from Infected is just filthy. Nano here on the Knife, too.
Infected rolling on through him here. Team Liquid, again, making up for lost time at the start of OWCS Stage 1. Absolutely offering no quarter to Shikigami, who are going to struggle here to walk out onto the point. They get Regime there at least.
He's got
for a time, and they will be turned on very quickly. Pod Driver used, Solo can't quite touch, and that is our first round in the books.
Oh, and trying to play these static comps, you can live a little bit with the Arisa, right? And prevent yourself from being dislodged from different positions, but after those kind of like fortifies get off, right? And the Immortality Field's gone, I mean, it is just easy there for Liquid. And Infected, yet again, not really under a huge threat. So teams don't exactly feel comfortable trying to match this, right? They seem to try and figure out a way to potentially counter it. We haven't seen anybody really do something that's impacted it thus far.
Yeah, they haven't really been able to answer it. I think Shikigami have been reeling. They've been on the back foot this entire time. Regime tried to play aggressively once toward the backline, instantly slept and killed by RuPaul, so I don't know if they're going to really attempt that again. This kind of team, the oppressive aura that they generate, can force you into playing a completely different game. I think Graveyard must have taken a headshot from Tree across the map there because they had to pick up the Mega very early.
This is interesting though. Ball here for Shikigami, but they're actually going to match it with a Pharah Venture. RuPaul, what is the secret agent?
They set the Pharah. Oh, the humanity. Oh, good
nice
Suzu.
Yeah.
Graveyard, the GOAT. Hello. Nicely done. Liquid tries to set up a play. Danny, though, eventually does fall. Here is the ball on the swing around the side. I'm glad Team Liquid can, you know, let their hair down a little bit here. Vega, those got to respect. Solo knocks them off the map. Another Suzu used there by Graveyard, who eventually is going to have to pay for that little interaction earlier in the fight. They will be picked off. Drunk on the way in now, fighting the Symmetra Knife. Well, Knife wins those, apparently.
RuPaul just going on like secret missions on the flank. Is he? I mean, this fight's just chaos, right? And it looks like a Regime going to make it away, so we're going to get back towards Solo as you do have spawners coming back here for TL.
Drunk actually gets hit in midair by Infectus, so some damage on that otherwise airborne target. There's Graveyard going the way of the Dodo, and Drunk doesn't last much longer here. Team Liquid, again, this is really impressive. I know we are looking at a team that's probably just on a little bit of a different level here, but how fluidly they're transitioning between these kills. They're not just all solo efforts here. I don't know if the minefield out in front of Shikigami's spawn is really necessary, but again, they look very crisp here.
And as I mentioned, Graveyard takes out Knife. Knife actually went over and played Sombra here, so we were just talking about it with Fitzy a little bit in the pregame. Seeing some Sombra action here from Team Liquid as that's actually a move off of the Sim. So Nano here on a tree, just see how fast that Torb can kill. Oh, almost booped off the side there. And look, if you don't deal with him and knock him off the side, that is filthy stuff.
Tree, you're on the list. That's all I'm going to say. You're on my list. There's no need for that. The hammer kills would have been good. Graveyard off the map. Look, Regime, Graveyard. I did say you guys might be the next RuPaul and Vega. You got to beat them, though, to become them. That's all I'm going to say. So far, they have been dominant. So far, Team Liquid have not dropped a beat, and they've only dropped a couple of deaths of their own here. Infected is more than happy to continue to be a nuisance. Regime with a beat here, because this is it. Last chance for Shikigami to get a touch. Solo, though, I don't think was able to benefit from that Lucio ultimate, and Team Liquid have absolutely bent Shikigami into a pretzel. And Regime not getting knocked off the map, but will come back at 1 HP. Will probably die to the Torb turret here. Very, very low as they are. Tree gets them with the hammer. You hate to see those. And well, folks, the Lambs were led to the slaughter.
It's not over. Solo with a minefield here. Now it looks very over. So he will fall. He's going to get hacked, and that is it. Team Liquid. I mean, that is I feel like we just started 2 minutes ago. That is a really fast map number 1. This is thumbs up.
Team Liquid, thumbs up, guys. You guys playing some great Overwatch today. Well done.
That was filthy. I mean, the Switch Drunk not able to really make it out of the spawn because constantly getting hacked by Knife, Infected, dropping pile drivers in front of the base. I mean, Team Liquid, it feels like last week everybody was talking about this team like they were a lock for relegation. That felt like the vibes around everybody talking about this team. Now,
I mean, you say that as someone who has actually been a part of like some pretty notable esports orgs. You can't tell me you haven't felt that before. Where like you come in, high expectations, lose the game a little unexpectedly, and then everyone thinks you're the worst in the world. Like it's like
we had an event, I want to say it was in Toronto in like 2017 where we were like a number 1 seed. We lost first round. Everybody thought we were going to get double first round, and then we ended up winning. So yeah, I mean, it does happen. The 5k healing is not a lot from Team Liquid there. It seems like everybody wants to play DPS.
Yeah, I mean, and why not? I don't think that RuPaul did any healing at all. I think he was absolutely, clicking enemies here, which is totally fine. Again, I do think that the Wrecking Ball comp taxes the lines of communication really heavily, for teams that want to group up, especially if you're playing that Orisa comp, because as soon as your whole comp depends on all 5 of you, essentially playing together, or at least 4, and then someone on an off angle who is self-sufficient and can go and get a health pack or whatever. When the ball comes in and like, let's say they knock your support into a room and they start fighting them. All of a sudden, the plan's over. You now need to react to the ball and salvage or save the player who's being pressured by the ball. And then but what are the other 4 people on the enemy team doing while that happens? It throws things into utter disarray. And that's why so many teams have decided the only way to beat the ball comp is just to do what they do, but better, to dive faster, harder.
Yeah, Tor ban here for Shikigami, and then it'll be Hazard on the other side. So for Shikigami, don't want to play that Tor, but they went and played like Venture Farah. They did some other stuff there. They played some Cassidy. I believe Cassidy, though, they played with the Torb. So they get the Torb out of the equation. Maybe they feel like it's a little bit easier. Well, for Shikigami, right? Okay, we can get rid of the Torb. That maybe opens up like Hazard or some other things, but then Hazard's gone, right? So see how that ban kind of plays out.
Okay. This is still the kind of map where you can, for sure, make this Wrecking Ball play work. We'll get your names switched up the top of the screen for you folks. It is Team Liquid in orange on that right side. Shikigami,
the org is like, no, we'll take Infected and RuPaul.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you've twist my arm. Sure. All right, so this is Solo has played some Queen in their time.
We saw somebody do this the other day, though. They tried to play the Queen into the ball. Did not last long. So let's see how it works here.
I also think that like you are doubling down on that power driver now with Venture. So again, just a ridiculous amount of backline pressure. Junker Queen again is the tank that demands you give her attention in order for her game plan to work. Otherwise, she is much like Ramacha, pretty weak.
Big bio.
I mean, yeah, and Solo doesn't get any bleed healing back, but all of a sudden, like, Team Liquid just turned 4 people onto Solo, and I'm pretty sure there's a Venture Emergence behind them. Like, that amount of burst damage, you have to be extremely vigilant against, and you don't really have, like, a way to sort of cover that necessarily. You have a Brig in your composition. Brig, Sombra, Queen. This is how hard Shikigami are trying to answer the ball.
But you also don't have like what you would want with the Queen, right? Is sure, maybe you can kind of deal with the ball, like, but the ability to chase down somebody, whether it be like Knife or RuPaul, but you don't have the speed capabilities. That's actually a pile driver, and I think RuPaul just finishes off Danny.
Sick nade. He did like a 3-player Bionade before the power driver came in, so this is Team Liquid just kind of flexing a little bit, just showing us how dominant they are. They fight off the point here. Shikigami have to go in for a back cap, which weakens their ability to fight back against a ball diving, right? They've got one less player to help them in that regard. Tree is hacked, so can't sort of burrow back below the ground. That's nicely done by Danny to set up that elimination. And now Shikigami, having used Rally, can come forward.
Tree was actually nanoed during that as well. Nanoed, and then also, in the backline, but there was the rally on the other side for Shikigami, right? That does a nice job kind of keeping them all alive. So Shikigami will actually get a flip here. So they do get control of the point. We'll see for how long, though, right? You're going to have the Ventral plus the Sim 1 coming in.
The Sim 1 not a huge deal, I guess. Shikigami's comp really just wants to brawl anyway, so the wall less effective, but you can play safely behind it as someone like Knife, for example. Tectonic Shock as well. It's deceptive how long range that ability is, man. It really covers some ground. Tree here, as soon as they realize the Queen's coming for the burrow, so who gets hit by that Rampage? Absolutely no one. Solo, able to at least get that ability off, but no one is there. Liquid are too mobile with this setup.
The Juno is impacted a little bit by the Sim wall, right? For Shikigami. But other than that, like in terms of like their damage output, like you would really kind of want to be playing past it. Knife gonna go over to Tracer, not gonna be playing that Sim anymore. And for this EMP that comes in from Danny, right? Vega, I'm sure he's gonna play off to the side, trying to avoid this, land that sound barrier, and continue the fight.
Okay, Danny aware here of Liquid trying to push up now. That's a sound barrier that came down. Danny, yep. Go with the EMP. Doesn't strip the sound barrier, of course. So Liquid still have that extra bit of durability, and the EMP doesn't last long. So Danny couldn't really afford to wait any longer to pop that ability, but only getting the Venture is maybe not enough. Here's the drop down for Infected. RuPaul has that safe little angle here, so plenty of healing for the Wrecking Ball available. Drunk with a blade, trying to probably find out where RuPaul is standing right now. Vega might be, they just get booted back. I hate this blade. I hate it with a passion. Oh, it's tough for Drunk. They can't get any info really. There's no great targets for it, in fairness.
Well, I mean, he's also trying to find anybody that he can go after safely, right? It pops the blade, gets booted back by Vega, then looks to the left instead of going after Vega, takes a ton of damage from Knife, and then hightails it the other way, and Tree right there. I mean, there's just no way you could get anywhere with that blade. And although Shikigami does get some percentage here, Team Liquid, though, able to take it back pretty quickly. And with the ultimates they have here, Mitch, right, having that nano potentially for Infected or Tree, I think they're going to be able to hold this for a bit.
I kind of want to see what Tree does with this nano, outside of being hit with every form of CC under the sun. Here's a Solo now. Again, it's an information game. They have to see the Wrecking Ball. It's quite a gaudy Boston Uprising skin that Infected is using there. Nice stick. Okay. Gonna spread away. There's no Kiriko here for Shikigami, so those Tracer Pulse Bombs are a little more problematic. Big damage. Oh, okay. Nice stun. That was the Shield Bash stun, I think, coming off Graveyard. Danny also hacked Tree, if I'm not mistaken. And that really makes Venture pretty useless. Graveyard moves up here, and Team Liquid actually conceding the point, or at least while Knife recalls and gets back into the fight. Knife must have recalled on top of Danny because they just meleeed them and end up finishing off the Sombra. Rampage here again. There's the issue that Solo is going to have a hard time actually hitting people, and the minefield could be an issue for that as well.
And Vega makes it out with like a sliver of HP, right? Gets hit with a Rampage here, but Vega looks like going to be able to live. So even though they flip the point, you're going to be able to come back here as Team Liquid. You don't even need the sound barrier, but you did have it just in case. As they'll flip it, they'll win this second flashpoint.
And in my opinion, that's as good as it gets for Solo. There's a Rampage that caught Tree and Vega respectively, but there's no hope of any follow-up there whatsoever. Vega can obviously, get out of dodge pretty easily by using the verticality. So a move to DV here is pretty reasonable, right? It doesn't do much about the Venture Tectonic Shock and play right now, so Shikigami have to respect it. They've lost their Brig, who's definitely going to be one of the first targets for this Liquid comp now, someone who just doesn't have the mobility to avoid this dive.
Yeah, they try and end up matching the sound barrier there with the orbital ray, and now they're just going to get kills traded out 1-for-1 as that is filthy work there from Tree. Connects with 2, and I think the bad part here for Shikigami, right, is you're kind of like trading these kills, but with both supports alive for Team Liquid, Infected and Knife, it's going to be difficult to dislodge these players from the point as a Knife and Infected just doing work as a tandem.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Tree actually switching over to the Mei here. No more Venture.
May's got some pretty good sightlines here on this specific point for like walls, but also I think Mei, if you get hacked on Venture, it feels like you can't really do much of anything, right? At least the Mei has a little bit of options.
Well, actually has that inherent durability, and normally there's not enough of a window to ice block. Cassidy is the answer here, though, from Danny, someone who, obviously historically very powerful against Mei, especially if they can inhabit this high ground position. Infected double stack to the point, doesn't want to allow it to be flipped on them.
For Tree.
Yeah, that hindrance for Tree is not a big deal. They can ice block this off, but Knife going to get brought down by Solo, who looks to charge on into them. Great boot. That is a great move from Regime. Liquid here, up to 65%, but they've certainly lost this fight. It's a minefield that is going to be mostly ignored by Shikigami, unless Infected can actually knock someone into it. You can't give this, you cannot give that Solo kill to Infected.
Yeah, I mean, almost kills Drunk in like a 1v2 there is... You players take some damage. They're both, Solo and Drunk getting below 50 HP, and the fight's gonna come right back because they never deal with Infected. You got Vega with a sound barrier here as well, Mitch. Could be huge.
Drunk recalls out. Vega builds beat, probably throws it straight away. Yeah, especially if the Kitsune Rush is going to be in play. So Graveyard needs to use his ability to keep Solo and Drunk alive, whereas Vega can just throw it out and then go back to business, which is giving Drunk extreme case of tinnitus, apparently. Little health pack pick up there for Infected, and we're going to double back now. Liquid still not in control of the point yet, and Solo was allowed to remech after the self-destruct, but they are alone, living up to their name, and now likely to be booted out of that mech again if they can't escape. We go into the drink, apparently.
But you're forced to jump off the side there instead of just getting like staggered out. And look at this, Team Liquid, they're going to push on up. They know that Solo is going to be coming off the spawn a little bit later. An opportunity to just pick up some kills, finish the game.
And there you have it, folks. Team Liquid, confident and comfortable here on this map. Obviously, they play Saturday and Sunday this weekend against, Rad and Shikigami respectively. So these are absolutely the games they want to use to nail down this composition that many teams have had to adapt to and adopt very quickly. I've got to say, perfect 10 for me. No notes against a team like Shikigami. this should, all things considered, be a comfortable 3-0.
Shikigami putting up some fights in certain situations, but Team Liquid just look. I mean, the Infected just on the ball is like unbelievable. Just always like, even when you think he's gonna die, always rolls out, knows where all the health packs are, like perfectly kind of maneuvers around the map. And I don't know if there's anything that Shikigami can do, right, in terms of like trying to counter it. They had some good moments here on this map, but still not enough.
Yeah, and there's some moments here, of course, of Tree on Venture. Again, like, it looked very good. The Sombra is a bit of a problem, but it's really easy to underestimate the range that Venture has on their abilities. Tech Shock and, of course, the Drill Rush can close a lot of gap. Danny tries the Cassidy here. I think you might feel like you need it to answer the ball's mobility, but it's also one of the most susceptible heroes, especially without that hindrance grenade cooldown, to just getting pile driven and ruined by that dive.
And NA is, I mean, we're barely gonna get enough banned today to get through bingo. Right?
It's true.
You might not even,
only 9.
You might not even be able to make a bingo with 9. I mean, that's that would be, obviously a low for the region, right? I mean, 2 3-0s back to back. I mean, Shikigami obviously with another. Shikigami may ban the ball here, make it a little bit interesting, right? But we know that Team Liquid can play other stuff. It's not like they're just like one trick type of team.
No, absolutely. I do think that they're comfortable playing this setup, though. Tree did mention in the interview, he's like, look, I'm enjoying Torp right now. I think it's just a matter of variety for a lot of these pro players. He's like, but I think eventually it might get a little bit tedious, just holding M1, just sort of shooting. And that's why we've seen games like this, where you've seen some hammer kills come out. We've seen Torb have a bit of fun with with Pointless Molten Cores, but the game plan seems pretty straightforward. Torb, I don't think has never really been heralded for being incredible in terms of his weapon. But with
yeah,
I think with his E now and that increase in fire rate and sort of projectile speed, I do think that it can be pretty nasty in some cases.
We had a season of Owl where Torb was pretty good, if you remember correctly, where we saw like Carpe play a lot of Torb, like thinking way back. But it's been a hero that's been pretty dormant at the competitive level for most of the game's lifespan, I would say, right? Where now it just seems like with some of the changes, obviously, to his kit over the years and changes to numbers now, right? In terms of even like hammer damage, I think got buffed at one point. It just seems to be a bit of a powerhouse. They get rid of the ball. Good on Shikigami, right? Hey, we're going to go down, do something different. And then Team Liquid actually gets rid of Genji on the other side.
Okay, that's obviously a pick that's going to be taken away from Drunk on the Shikigami side. We see a ton of Genji on this Esperança map. This might mean that TL end up circling back to their Hazard comp and play Sojourn Tracer, or honestly, do whatever the heck they want, because I don't honestly think it matters over much.
They can play Malga, right? You can play the Hazard. I think Ramatra, a bunch of different options here. On Esperança, right? Especially, look, Team Liquid, they could just do just about everything. I'm sure they have game plan for teams that would. I'm actually probably pretty sure they were surprised they didn't see a ball ban yesterday. That they probably had something ready yesterday if a ball ban came through. So
sure,
there's no way that they know that how good Infected is on the hero that it was gonna kind of slide through every single game. So I'm sure they have an answer.
Yeah, much like the previous series, a Wrecking Ball gets banned in map number 3. Will it make a difference? Is it more a pick for Graveyard, at least hovering that? That's interesting. I really would have liked to have seen a Moira ban. That would have made my day. On the Liquid side, Knife Hanzo. I feel like we saw that when he played for the Vegas Eternal. Maybe way back then on like Omega Ping.
Knife, he probably he denies that he was on the Vegas turn. He's like,
I mean, you know what? I really like him.
Same name. They're just a different player. It wasn't me. No, he was fine on it. Just the team. So they actually, Team Liquid, this is interesting. This is very similar to what we saw Shikigami play at the start of like Lijiang Tower, right? With the Orisa like Baptiste type of setup.
Yeah, RuPaul on the Baptiste, this should be quite a treat. Shikigami obviously want to take these hefty frontline fights, but there is a Sim turret in play, so Knife is going to be a little hard to catch. And Team Liquid obviously actually have some options, not only for escapes, but for starting off fights from some of these really off angles. Infected has a great sense of when he needs to pull back here, and Shikigami don't look to chase the Orisa down, so that's an easy heal and a lot of ult charge for Rupal getting developed. I think Amp Matrix in this matchup is really underrated with the Torb, especially with his with his E. That is a pretty disgusting amount of damage that we're able to put down. Cart's on the move, by the way, and this Sim turret gives Liquid just this insane level of mobility. Solo dies out in the open with a turret.
Well, also, the Malga wants to, like, charge in and get on the opposing team, right? Not exactly like the tank you think of in terms of like poke is we're just going for hammers here.
I mean, Tree was just checking the knee reflexes of Danny. That's fine.
But Malga, like charging into like the Sim with the Baptiste, right, can be pretty difficult, especially when the Orisa can use like spear spin, knock that Malga back, then send him off course. That is already checkpoint here. For Team Liquid is they're trying to set a record in terms of series length. I mean, it's like we're only 20 minutes into this one.
Oh yeah, no, this has been one of the fastest games that you're probably going to see in NA at this stage. Rupal though hit by the stun. Solo comes in with a stomp, finally able to assert himself. So make things harder for Team Liquid. It's a die on the bot kind of game plan now, as I have to fall back and likely keep the same comp. They're going to be rotating into a sound barrier here fairly soon. Rupal made use of the Ant Matrix map, but I didn't really see. I think they were just pushed while they tried to set it up. Well, good response from Shikigami.
As soon as he got up to the high ground and dropped it, it was just the slam that came in from Solo and a lot of damage. There was just no answer there. Yeah, he probably would have ended up trying to drop the immortality field, right? But just gets, just incinerated there by the Malga. And it comes on through, just takes him out fast. So not even able to drop that, gets the stun. So nice play for Shikigami to battle back out of that situation. Now with some high ground control, here's where you see those TP plays, though. You're able to move right across the map and they get right behind Drunk.
Not too shabby. That's the Torb out of the game. Already a very hefty total posted here by Team Liquid. And the Sim wall is very good here against the Sojourn and the Malga respectively. Solo having a tantrum on the bot. Why can't I have these nice walls? Unfortunately, now they're going to walk away from Shikigami after Liquid. I already used this Sim comp to set up behind them on that high ground. They probably can do it again as well as they move down. Knight can set them up with a TP that puts them on that high ground. They just need to avoid getting quad stunned by Solo.
You're in that really weird scenario again, though, Mitch, where Solo's going to end up with that cage fight, but you have like Terror Surge plus Molten Core to put inside of it. This is going to be Drunk actually using the Molten Core really early here, just trying to maybe like back them up into it, create some space, but Team Liquid has no problem just kiting this.
Drunk didn't realize how far back Liquid had disengaged. Yeah. He thought that they were on the right of the bot and not all the way back up that street, so he holds a Molten Core and sees absolutely nothing. This cage fight had better be something special. There is
two. He just kind of walks up here to tree and just two taps him.
Yes. And again, like, Graveyard is forced to crouch. Here's Kitsune Rush. Danny is just going to ignore Tree, I suppose. That's fine. Here's a cage fight. Here's a hammer. Trying to break on in there. I like it. Tree, though, is, well, a little unserious.
Hey,
I'll be honest with you.
He almost got it. He almost got it.
Yep. No. Could have given us a great moment there, almost breaking that Malga cage fight on his own. So Liquid still walking in the next fight with their own Molten Core. They still have that Terror Surge available to them. A number of options with this symmetric teleporter that will allow them to come from an odd angle, and here is a switch to the Winston for Solo.
Graveyard trying to land a long-range sleep. So land maybe a really nice bio-grade on a side angle here. Just kind of moving up towards this high ground. The Torb turret and then just get yoinked in.
Graveyard's able to walk out of it at the very low. Okay, I see the idea. Oh, that's so dirty.
Yeah.
The TP play? Oh, man. They're styling on this right now. Okay, Tree's going to make it look like Sodom and Gomorrah out there. Fair enough.
He's got Torb Molten Core lineups. I mean, yeah, no, Team Liquid, I mean, they're having fun here today. And Shikigami's like a good team, right? We've seen them actually put up some good performances against some of the other opponents in NA, but Liquid just kind of demonstrating what level they're on at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely clowning on them here. And they look very look comfortable. It's important to have fun in games like this. I don't know if Shikigami could be boasting that, but maybe fun is zero-sum, frankly, in Overwatch. You cannot both have fun at the same time. It's not allowed. Tree's turret eventually gets taken down, and that's Danny able to blow him up but at least with that overclock. Out of spawn we come. Knife is very charged up. You've got to respect this, Danny. Knife jumps into the TP. Danny will be accosted here by Infected, shaken down for his lunch money and given a swirly. We're done here, folks. Shikigami have faced their execution with their heads held high.
You definitely got a swirly at one point in school. You're definitely.
It turns out we actually have an education system that's not a disaster.
Were you the swirly or the swirlier?
No, that is not allowed where I hail from. Just like your breakfast cereals are considered confectionery in my country.
This was
so
a
real.
fast one.
That's so real.
I think if you're Shikigami, pretend this one didn't happen. Just,
That's easy. I mean, you only have to like scrap about 5 minutes of your life.
I mean, they got hit so hard they have amnesia, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
I mean,
the tough
showing, obviously, there for Shiki. However, Team Liquid, obviously, there you get to watch some sports ball tonight. I don't know, dinner plans for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
this one was over in a blink. Lijiang Tower. I kid you not. I went to the bathroom. I came back and it was gone. I can't.
They must have been confused and
there.
thought the Kendrick performance was in the pregame, but it is at halftime. They didn't need to be this fast. I mean, this one, this start to finish. I mean, just and look, I'll give Shiki credit. They actually tried a ton of different stuff to stop this. It wasn't like, all right, we're just gonna come out and play what we've always played and just lose, right? They made a lot of different switches to try and make something happen. It just didn't.
Yeah, it just didn't. I mean, Solo was on ball. We tried the Queen on Suravasa as well, which honestly didn't even look half bad. Like, I didn't hate the Queen per se. Solo on Diva then, but yeah, they just never got the upper hand. They never found their footing.
That's true. I mean, we have all this like B-roll. We have to talk over it, which is crazy.
I know.
Let me try this. Lorem ipsum dolor sit amet consecutor abdisisling elit sed tu eiusmod tempor incidudent ut labore et dolore magna aliqua.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Right, I mean, how do we feel this? How do we feel this time? How do we feel this time? The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
That's right. Well, we can gas up Infected some more. Obviously, Ball was taken out of the equation here on Esperança, but can only ban him one.
It didn't really even seem to make a difference, too.
It did literally made no difference. It made no difference. At that point, they were already boomed.
I think that like last year, there was like a conversation. I think that Infected was having to pick up the Orisa and it wasn't maybe one of his strongest tank picks. I think going into Dallas, or maybe it might have been later on. And I remember someone saying like Infected's adjusting really well there, but like he's picked up because he is like so flexible. That's like what Caceres's mantra has been about this team. So I don't even know if it's worth trying to aim bans at Infected specifically, but I do understand if you're getting sick of playing the Wrecking Ball, because it is unlike any other comp to play against, right? And maybe you just don't have the protocols established to answer it. You want to fight against the Orisa, that's fine. You get to test yourself against a more standard comp. I don't think it's a wasted ban. I just don't think it's going to stop Liquid.
I'd also say, obviously Infected player of the match, I mean, he was tremendous. But I think another reason why you feel really good about picking him up if you're Liquid and like moving forward, obviously great player, versatile, whatnot. He's also a player who is, at least, from, everything that we've seen and whatnot, very eager to learn, very eager to get better, like knows he needs to work on stuff, right? Like it seems like a player that you can bring into your team and work with for multiple years, and he's always going to give 100%, right? Always going to try and get better every single day, or whatever.
And the most important part for people like you, Matt, he seems like a vibes guy too.
He is pretty chill. He's pretty chill.
Hey, speaking of chill people, RuPaul is actually joining us for a chat here after this dominant performance. So RuPaul, congratulations. Just another day in the office. You guys made that one look easy. Was it at least fun? Is it fun to stomp out the teams like that, or do you feel a little dirty after that?
It's fun. It's fun. It's obviously not as fun as like a competitive match, but like it's a little bit fun.
It's a little bit fun. Do you think the meta is going to stay ball heavy heading into week 3 and 4, or do you think this is just a weird time in the matrix we're finding ourselves in?
I think ball is going to stay really strong for a while.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are mega chilling, I think, because you have only one game next weekend and it's against Amplify. So this is like one of the weeks that maybe gives you a bit of like a breathing room and a chance to like look ahead a bit, maybe like work on some other stuff to keep up your sleeve. What have been the things that you guys have been working on at the moment? You picked up like the ball comp really well. I noticed that you guys didn't play it in week 1, even though you guys had to were having to deal against Riker on that. What's next? Like, what kind of stuff are you as a team sort of saying, okay, now we have some time, let's address this or that, obviously without giving specifics, of course.
I think in general we're trying out a lot of different comps and heroes in scrims. Like, we actually always we ban ball a lot in scrims, and we ban like Ana. Like, we ban comps that we want to play to feel like okay, because these teams are gonna do this against us. So okay, what should we play if what we want to play is banned out? So it's a lot of different things. You saw us playing like Venture. We'll probably try that out a little bit more. Maybe some other like dive if like ball gets banned. And then I don't know if Hazard's gonna make a comeback, but yeah, I think he's still like not bad. It's just ball and like Torb are so strong into him. So maybe we'll play some more Hazard as well.
I mean, they didn't ban the ball yesterday, so that was one you gotta snuck by in. But the top of NA seems to be pretty crowded. I think you guys are kind of putting a little bit of a gap between yourselves and some of the other teams. Who do you feel like, at least at this point in the season, is like one of the biggest threats to you guys?
Honestly, I feel like the only like other team by the end, like come like playoffs and like the final day, it'll probably be us in Space Station.
No one else.
I mean,
I think Nightmare is the toughest one you have coming up, I believe, in week 4. How do you feel about Nightmare?
They're not bad. They're pretty good actually, but I think like scrim results versus match results are very different. I think we'll beat them in the match pretty easily.
Okay.
Right on. Yeah, we'll see your upcoming matches here on screen. Well, RuPaul, Big Chillin, we're gonna let you go do your thing. We're gonna see you and the team in action again next week. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a lovely rest of your evening.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. RuPaul, world champion, by the way.
Yeah, just a legend.
Just a legend.
Genuinely like a legend at this point. Yeah, I guess I kind of asked that question because like they really, I mean, you have a 1-game weekend coming up against like the lowest team in OWCS. So like, I don't know how, and they're probably not thinking about that too much, but like they've got to be looking at like what's coming out of Korea, and all of a sudden like everyone's playing this comp. And they're looking at the other teams in NA and like, how do we make sure we just don't leave anything to chance?
Because they do have Kasaras and Danny, right? I'm pretty sure that they will spend the next 1 to 2 weeks taking a lot of inspiration from what we see in the Asian region, specifically Korea. This is plenty of time for them to not